There's lots of talk on the internet about diffraction and how you shouldn't shoot at high f numbers. If you've been watching my videos, you'll see that I've been shooting at f20 on a few of them. And is it the right thing to do, or is it not? So there is an awesome book by Brian Peterson called Understanding Exposure, and he shows an image at f8 and an image at f20 and says there's not much difference between the two, so we really don't have to worry about diffraction. So what I'm trying to get to the bottom of here is, does diffraction exist? Well, obviously it does, it's laws of physics, but does it have an effect on the photographs that we take? I've been looking through my images today, and there is a huge difference between shooting at f20 and shooting at f10. So we've got two images on the screen now. The one on the left here, shot at 16mm, f20, ISO 100 at 1/50th of a second. So what we want to look at is the image on the left any softer than the image on the right? So the view at the moment is on fit, so that's just to fit the actual screen. If we go to fill, I was going to say there's not much difference between the two, but already I can see that if we look at the heather here on the left hand side on the f20 shot and the heather here on the right hand side, there's already a difference. This is already softer. Okay, so if we're going to 1:1 setting, we come up. Okay, let's have a look at this area here. Yeah, this area here, the grass, compared to this area here, there's a noticeable difference in sharpness, and it's the same all over the image. So in the whole area of the heather here compared to the area of the heather here on the right hand side, it's noticeably sharper on the right hand side shot at f10. So if we go and delve a little bit deeper and take it 2:1, it becomes blatantly obvious to me that this is far sharper with far more detail than this on the left hand side. So f10 is shooting far sharper than f20 with the same Lightroom settings, and it carries on all the way through the image. You can see here on the right hand side the grass, and the grass far sharper. A really good example is the sign here on the right hand side. You can differentiate the details on the sign on the right, and on the left it's just a blur, and that continues all the way through the image. Soft detail. If we have a look at the definition here and the sharpness here, a little yellow something or other on the screen there compared to the smudge here on the left hand side. And don't forget, we zoomed in quite a lot here. And then if we look at the bridge on the left hand side here, very little definition and marked definition on the right hand side. So conclusions that we could draw is there's a big difference shooting between f10 and f20. Now, is that because of the sweet spot of the lens, or the fact that more light's being let in? What it indicates to me is that you shoot with this lens anyway at lower f-stops. f20 is seriously degrading the quality of the image. Now, question is do you photo stack or do you not? Well, I think that depends. So if we look at this shot, we weren't that close to the foreground, and as a lot of you will see with my shoots, I like to get a really close foreground shot. For me, it's part of what I do, and I'll give you an example now. So here's an example of an image taken the way I like to take images. We've got a really crisp, sharp foreground, yeah, and this shot was taken at f22. Okay, really sharp all the way through, I thought. Nice and sharp in the foreground here. Nice and sharp in the foreground, yeah. But then let's have a look at what's happening in the background. It really has gone to mush, yeah. Now, some of that will be atmospheric, but I'm convinced now that a lot of that is due to the fact that when you're shooting at the higher f numbers, it's having a marked effect on sharpness. So what I've decided to do was photostat the images that I got at f10 at different focus lengths to see if it made a difference to the sharpness of the image. Ignore this on the right where it says f8. I don't know why that's happened. It's when I put it through Lightroom, but you can see that the file numbers are virtually identical, so they are from the same group of pictures. I'm not cheated. So if we have a look at and compare these two, so we zoomed into 4:1 here on the stream. This is the focus stacked image on the right. This is the same one on the left hand side. Now I've got to be honest here, I didn't go crazy with accuracy on focusing at certain distances. I just took 4 exposures at different focal lengths and then blended them together. But as we go into the distance, there's no discernible difference there between the two shots. I don't know whether people agree or not, but to my untrained eye, I can't see any difference, any discernible difference anyway. But when we look at the focus stacked image compared to the shot f20, huge difference. Soft, sharp, sharp, soft. This region here, soft and a lot sharper. And again, if we compare the non-focus stacked f10 image on the left compared to the non-focus stacked, obviously, f20 image on the right, huge difference. Yeah, this is really, really soft. I hope this comes through well on video, whereas this is a lot sharper. So, whether or not it's diffraction or whether or not it's the sweet spot on the lens, I can only come to one conclusion, which I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this video are screaming at the screen and say, well, we knew that anyway. But shoot at lower f numbers. Shoot at f10 if you want a sharp image. Now, because I like to get a really sharp foreground, as in this picture here, yeah, I'm going to be, from now on, focus stacking the images when I want an image like this. I will take the foreground at f10 and then I will zoom forward into the background, take the same image at f10. I will no longer be shooting at f20. Despite what books say, diffraction plays a huge part in creating softness in the image. So what I would say is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah, I really, really like this image because we've got a lovely, crisp, sharp foreground here, delineated along the ridge, and then in the background it's softer. So with a photograph like this, it actually works. I like the fact that we've got diffraction. It suits the image. Now you've got to remember that if you want pin sharp front to back, that is awesome, and I think it's got its place. But if you look at the landscape artists of the past, when they painted their pictures weren't pin sharp front to back, because that's not how our eye works. Our eye works that the foreground is sharp, and because of the atmosphere and because of the ozone, the background to us naturally looks softer. So I think in certain circumstances, maybe 50% of cases, I would play with diffraction anyway, and especially if you're shooting really, really sharp foregrounds and you've got something that can delineate the background to the foreground, because I think it works well and I think it looks nice.